Hey guys, and welcome to our first Monday Night Raw recap show. My name is Anthony, otherwise known as WWE Fan 1993, and today we are going to be talking about Monday Night Raw from June 22nd, 2020. We are taped live from the Performance Center in Florida, and the first start of the show, Drew McIntyre, the WWE Champion, comes out. Now, I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre's. I think he is a great performer. I think he looks like what a professional wrestler should look like. And I think he's just all around great. So he comes out and he talks about how he teamed up with R-Truth and they basically defeated the team of Bobby Lashley and MVP. And basically, he's talking about how he, doesn't really have many opponents. And then all of a sudden, Dolph Ziggler comes out. And I'm surprised to see Dolph. He was on SmackDown. He was doing the whole storyline with Otis, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose. But now he's on Monday Night Raw. And he says that since AJ Styles got drafted to Raw, SmackDown, since he won the Intercontinental Championship, AJ Styles has been moved to SmackDown. And in a trade, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode have now been added to the Raw roster. So Dolph comes out and he, says that he had a great past with Drew. He kind of brought him in, and Dolph basically takes credit for his success when he came back in WWE. If you can remember, towards the end of 2018, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler had a tag team, and they were kind of unstoppable, to be honest. But then Dolph turned on Drew, and history, as you know. But basically, Ziggler says that Drew is a dominant WWE champion because of him. And basically, Ziggler tells Drew, I want a match against you for the WWE Championship. McIntyre says, fine, if you really want a match, we'll fight at Extreme Rules on pay-per-view. So Ziggler says, yep, fine. So at Extreme Rules, the WWE Championship is going to be on the line as the champion Drew McIntyre defends his title against Dolph Ziggler. And an important moment of this whole promo was when Drew says to Dolph, you used to call me the Scottish psychopath. So I like the storyline so far that they were a tag team, they have a past together, and now they're going to be going against each other. So I'm happy to see that. So that was pretty good. And then Nia Jax came out. The announcers say that she's not scheduled. She grabs a steel chair and she sits in the ring. And she says how everything's not fair. Charlotte Flair just came onto Raw and requested a title match. She's got it against Asuka tonight. And she says she's not leaving until she gets a title shot. Well, the WWE 24/7 champion R-Truth has something to say to that. He comes out and he basically, in a very funny moment, says that Akira Tozawa is actually Nia Jax, that he's dressed up as Nia, and he says to her, why don't you take off your costume? Then the real Akira Tozawa comes out, and he taunts R-Truth, and the ninjas show up, and then they run away. And then after that happens, Charlotte Flair comes out, and basically Jax says that Charlotte gets what she wants even when she doesn't deserve it. She says that she was cheated out of her match at Backlash and screwed over by another referee. She says also that Charlotte Flair gets what she wants because her father is WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Charlotte then has words for Jax, and then Charlotte hits Jax. They fight back. There's a big brawl. They get pulled apart, but Flair dropped Jax with a big boot, and then they left. All right, now it's going to be for the Raw Tag Team titles. The Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, will be defending their championships against the Viking Raiders. And this is a pretty decent match. The two teams have been going back and forth in this I Can Do Better Than You competition lately, and it's been kind of boring. However, this is a pretty decent match. I'm glad to see them wrestling again and not just having their backstage issues. But Street Profits won after Montez Ford hit a big frog splash on Ivar and got the pin. After the match, Angel Garza and Andrade run in and attack the Street Profits as Zelina Vega watches. The Viking Raiders run down to help, but Andrade and Angel Garza have already made their message clear. Now we see Seth Rollins. He's talking about how he has a message for Rey Mysterio, and all will be revealed soon. Then we go backstage after the commercial break, and we look at what happened between Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins last week. Rollins says that sometimes in life we are destined for roles beyond our choices. He did not choose to be the Monday Night Messiah, just as Rey didn't choose to be his sacrifice. He says that he embraced the role for the greater good, while Rey has been defiant, and defiance breeds suffering. He says that he can't believe that Rey allowed his son to get involved. He says whatever becomes of Rey and his son from this moment, it's on Rey Mysterio. He says the greater good is coming for us all, and there's nothing Rey can do to stop it. He says that he's heard that legends never die, but they sure as hell can outlive their welcome. I really liked this promo from Seth. He got very close to the camera, and I thought it was a good storyline. He's saying that I've been doing the greater good. And it's interesting. We're going to see, I like seeing Dominic in the storyline, so we're going to see what happens. So then we come back, and Charlotte Flair is in the trainer's room, and she's holding her arm because she got attacked by Nia earlier. And Charlotte says she doesn't want to postpone the match tonight. That's what they do. It's not ballet. She's like, my arm is just holding up fine for that title. Next, Charlie talks to Zelina Vega, Angel Garza, and Andrade. And basically, Garza flirts with Charlie a bit until Vega steps in. And she says it's not time for that. She says, my clients are a united front. We've put their differences aside, and they will soon become tag team champions. So it looks like the Street Profits will be having a rivalry with Angel Garza and Andrade, and I'm here for that. I really like both Andrade and Angel Garza. I love Zelina Vega. I think they're a great team combination. And I also like the Street Profits. So I think they'll be great. Now the next match is for the Raw Women's Championship as the Raw Women's Champion Asuka defends against Charlotte Flair. Now these two had a very good match. And surprisingly, Asuka won. She made Charlotte Flair tap out to the Asuka lock, which Asuka has never been able to defeat Charlotte Flair, so this is the first time for that, and I was really happy to see Asuka win. Charlotte tends to always win, so I was glad to see someone different win a match. Then after the match, Nia Jax watches everything, and she says that she thinks her fight with Flair had everything to do with the outcome of the match, and she said it'd be a real shame for someone to kick the queen while she's down. Then we see a promo between Edge and, Edge, he's in the ropes, this is probably before Raw. He says that Randy won at Backlash, but he doesn't think Randy proved to be better than Edge. He says Orton did tear Edge's triceps with the RKO, but Edge kicked down, he kept fighting. He mentioned watching Raw last week where Randy declared himself the best wrestler ever. He says he's disappointed he didn't see the low blow from Ric Flair to Christian last week. He says that he lit a fire in his gut that by reminding him that he's a legend killer. Edge says this match and this injury, not being able to pick up his daughter on Father's Day, it showed him that he had something in him also. The Punk kicking when he did to Christian, he said Christian had been his best friend. He walked through him with every trial and tribulation of Edge's life. He's upset. He said when Orton did that, he put the PG superstar who's been walking around happy to be back. He put him to bed. For that, Edge is thankful. He said that Randy woke up a side of him that will sink to any level to get what he wants, who doesn't care how many backseat bruises step on to get to the top. Edge says he doesn't care about a wrestling match now. He wants to embarrass and emasculate Orton. He says this will affect Orton's family life, and he says he wants to talk to the voices in Randy's heads. He says Orton has no idea what he's done. He's trying to tear down Orton's life. He woke up the evil. He woke up the rated R superstar. And he tells Orton, get some sleep while you can. This was a very good promo from Edge. I like to see that he's not being his nice guy self anymore. He's going to go out there and basically emasculate and defeat Randy Orton. I have yet to watch their Backlash match, so I will be watching that soon. But I am excited to see how it turned out. So now, Charlie is backstage with Randy Orton. He asks her, does she know what happens when a snake gets threatened? He's going to strike widely if you back him into the corner. And he basically says he does sincerely hope Edge and Christian have a full recovery, and he believes they can live long, fulfilling lives as long as they do it far, far away from him. All right, now we're in the backstage, and we see Charlotte Flair. She's icing her shoulder, and she's upset, but she gives Asuka credit. But that's the only way Asuka, and then all of a sudden Nia Jax attacks her from behind. She slams Flair's injured arm in a storage bin, and then gets her a woo before leaving. So Charlotte is now injured. The next match is for the WWE 24/7 Championship, as the champion R-Truth defends against Akira Tozawa. Basically, Bobby Lashley comes out and puts R-Truth in a full Nelson, and Tozawa gets the pin and runs off with the title. Whatever type of match, whatever. Basic. So next we see Natalya backstage with Sarah Schreiber. She says the women's division needs her leadership now. She has an announcement to make, but they're out of time. You'll have to wait to find out because her match with Liv Morgan is next. So next we have Liv Morgan against Natalya, and Natalya with her at ringside is Lana. Last week they had a conversation, and basically Lana distracted the referee, and Natalya puts Lana in a sharpshooter, and she holds on to the submission after Liv taps out, and basically confirming that she might be bad, she might be turning heel. Then Lana and Natalya leave together. We go back to Charlie backstage. She's with the Big Show. Big Show says that he's been funny on his comedy show, but he can do what he wants when he wants, when that angry giant inside of him comes out. He says the world's largest athlete is staying in the back giant, but I'm headed to the ring right now, is the heartless angry giant. Next, we see Ric Flair. He comes down to the ring. His daughter Charlotte was injured, but when she comes back, Nia will be her number one target. And that he basically says that Nia better be afraid of Charlotte when she comes back. Then he goes talking about Randy Orton. He says Orton is the greatest, and he wants to tell him to his face in front of millions of people. So then Randy comes down, and he mentions being in the ring with half of Evolution. He talks about how Flair proved he is the greatest player in the game last week. Orton says this isn't nostalgic, it's just cementing his legacy. He became the best wrestler ever in just a span of 2 days. He talked about it being the Legend Killer, and then the Big Show comes out. He says he's not going to let Randy Orton and Ric Flair glorify what they did. He says Edge and Christian are his friends, and Orton is going to pay for what he did. He said Orton's been a parasite since day one, and basically, he says that Edge will get payback by himself because Big Show also wants to break the same bones of Randy Orton. So Orton says says Big Show won't hurt a hair on Flair's head, and he won't hurt Randy because they came up together. He praises the Big Show and kisses him and calls him a future Hall of Famer, a legend. And then he leaves the ring before anything can get physical between him and the Big Show. That was alright. It's good to see Big Show back, but... Alright, next was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. As the champions, Sasha Banks and the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley defend their titles against the IIconics. And basically, this was a good match. Banks won with a bank statement to Royce, and she got the submission win. After the match, they win, and they're on the mic, and they brag about their win. Banks says that she gets a little jealous when Bayley talks about holding both of her titles. She loves seeing her best friend happy, but she wants to experience that as well. She says she wants a title match. And then Sasha challenges Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. Asuka comes down. She yells at them in Japanese. She says Banks is not the boss of her. She accepts the challenge, and then Bayley attacks Asuka. She gets double teamed. She fights them off, but Banks says her with a backstabber and the bank statement. And then she holds the Raw Women's Championship. That would be a pretty good match. Excited to see what those two do at Extreme Rules. Next, we see Sarah Schreiber talking to MVP and Bobby Lashley. She asks if Lashley was trying to make a statement by attacking R-Truth. He blames R-Truth for him not being champion, and he's going to introduce the world to the Hurt Business. MVP addresses Apollo Crews, and his trick, he helped beat Shelton Benjamin last week. He talks about helping Crews. And then next we see Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan backstage. Ruby tries to talk to her, but she doesn't need Riot to make her feel worse. Now we have the VIP lounge where MVP has WWE United States Champion Apollo Crews come down. He says that MVP, that Crews finally has given his daughter the chance to live the life she wants to live by being champion. He basically just goes at Crews, and then Crews comes, and MVP says that Crews has the potential to be the best United States champion, if not better than MVP. But he says he won't be better than MVP, though. He says Crews can be champion for a long time, but we're not without MVP in his corner. Crews wonders how that is. He's been dealing with people like MVP all of his career. And basically, Shelton Benjamin comes down, and he takes advantage of a distraction, and he attacks Apollo Crews. Now we have Apollo Crews against Shelton Benjamin, and Crews wins with a tossed powerbomb. After the match, MVP applauds on stage, and MVP tries to raise his hand, but Crews tells him to keep his hands away. Bobby Lashley comes from behind, and he puts Crews in a full Nelson, and Lashley and MVP leave. Now we're coming to our final moments of the night. We see Rey Mysterio backstage with Dominic, and Rey says, trust him, and he's going to show the Monday Night Messiah how the Mysterio family rolls. So then Rey and Dominic come out, and he said his son is bigger than him, but he's still the only man. No matter how strong he gets, Dominic will always be his child. Since Dominic fought for him, now it's time for Rey to fight for his son. He says he's got this one. He needs to get revenge on Rollins. So then the music interrupts and Rollins comes down. He says he wonders if he's going to go and slaughter his father and son, or does he make Rey watch as Seth sacrifices Dominic? Basically, the two of them argue. Rollins drops to his knees. Austin Theory and Murphy come down, and he says this is on Rey. But then Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo attack Murphy and Theory on the ramp. Dominic stands in the ring, and Rey gets in the ring. Rey hits Rollins with a 619, and they double team Rollins on the floor now, and they drag him to the ring steps. Theory and Murphy make the save. Rey and Dominic continue to try to put Rollins' eye on the step, but Murphy and Theory stop them. They hold each other back, and Rollins then tries to put Dominic eye into the steel, but Carrillo and Black come back, and Rollins and his disciples retreat up the ramp, and that's how the night ends. So we end with Seth Rollins and his disciples, the Monday Night Messiah, having advantage over Rey Mysterio and Dominic. We saw the return of Black and Humberto Carrillo. It was a pretty decent Raw. I'll give this Raw a 7 out of 10. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. I'm excited for tonight's NXT. Remember to check that out. You'll have a recap for that either Thursday or Friday coming out on YouTube. I'll have different content all the time. Make sure you follow, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, get notified so that you know whenever I go live. And I'll be back soon with another recap. Thank you for checking us out. Remember, Extreme Rules is coming up in July. There's 2 matches already made. The WWE Championship on the line as the champion Drew McIntyre defends against Dolph Ziggler, and the Raw Women's Championship on the line as the champion Asuka defends her Raw Women's title against the Boss and current WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Sasha Banks. Extreme Rules coming up in July. Tonight, NXT. Check it out. Thank you for checking out my channel. Like, subscribe, and get notified. Comment. See you guys soon.